see all it's cracked up to be? Well, today I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Everything from the growth that's reshaping our economy to the outdoor lifestyle. And make sure you watch to the end because the last one is not what you're expecting. Let's get into it. Depending on which state you're relocating from, safety can be a hot topic. And Idaho consistently ranks among the safest states in the country. And violent crime here is genuinely low. For a lot of families coming from bigger metros, that's the first thing they notice. Kids riding bikes, neighbors who actually know and look out for each other, and it's really a refreshing feeling to be able to exhale a little. I can tell you from personal experience moving here from California, when I walk my dog along the greenbelt by myself, there's just a different sense of ease that I have than when I did living in California. And that said, do your due diligence. Idaho isn't crimeless. You get the occasional car break-ins or package theft that comes with any growing area. So basic common sense still applies. Lock your car, don't leave the garage door open all night, and safety does vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. Growing pains can take a toll on infrastructure, and traffic is where you feel it. A lot of the roads out here were built for a much smaller town and were literally farm roads not that long ago. The valley has grown faster than the infrastructure can keep up. So you've got a real pain point. The connectors like Eagle Road, State Road, and Interstate 84, during rush hour, they're in the middle of the valley. These are the main thoroughways that run east and west and north and south. So there's only a few main routes to get around. If there's an accident or construction, you're going to be in a sit and wait situation. Now, I want to keep this in perspective. If you're coming from Los Angeles or Seattle, you might laugh at what people here call traffic. But a bad commute might mean that your 15-minute drive takes 25 to 30 minutes. It's real and it's gotten worse, but it's not a soul-crushing gridlock, at least in my opinion. And the good news is growth is being addressed. There's road work happening, new interchanges, and expansions like the Highway 16 corridor. It's the classic growing city problem, and roads are playing catch up. So just know that where you live relative to where you work can make a real difference here, and it's worth thinking through before you pick a neighborhood. This one might be the most important one, and it's nothing you can put a number on. The community and the pace of life. There's something about Boise that people struggle to describe until they've lived it. It's a real city. It's got a great food scene, breweries, concerts, a downtown with energy, but it still feels like a place where people look out for each other. Folks call it the biggest small town in America, and that fits. It's genuinely friendly in a way that catches transplants off guard. And the pace is different. It's not the constant grind, the city that never sleeps vibe, or the pressure of the bigger coastal cities. People here actually live their evenings and weekends. They're out on the green belt, up at the lake, at a kids' game, a farmer's market, camping. There's this sense that life is meant to be lived and not just worked through. People move a little slower. Don't be surprised when you're checking out at the grocery store and the cashier and customer are having a friendly conversation without a care in the world. That's just every day here. For the families I work with, this is often the real reason they came. Not the house, not even the price. It's that they wanted a more grounded way of living, and they found it here in Boise. Quick hello if we haven't met. I'm Rebecca, and I bring 10 years of real estate experience to the table. I've made this cross-country move myself twice, so I know how heavy these decisions can feel, especially when you're doing it a million miles away. So let's keep going. Then there's the seasonal events that affect air quality, and it's something worth talking about. The inversion and the wildfires. First, the inversion. Boise sits in a bowl, mountains on one side, high desert around it, and in the winter, that bowl works against us. The layer of warm air settles on the top and traps the cold air underneath. It's nowhere to go. It's called an inversion, and you get a flat gray lid over the whole valley. It usually runs from late November into February. Sometimes it's a couple of days and sometimes a week. And every so often it settles in for a few weeks and you start to forget what the sun looks like. The air gets stagnant and you see burn bands. And if you've got breathing issues or sensitivities, it's something to know about going in. And here's the part I tell a friend though, it doesn't hit every year the same, and there's a trick to it. A lot of locals drive up to Bogus Basin. It's about 20 minutes from downtown Boise, straight up the mountain, and you break through the top of it. There's blue sky and sunshine, and the whole valley sits under the blanket below you. People up here plan around it. They'll go for a hike or they'll go for a ski, and they just get above it until they come back down. Then there's the wildfires. Mid to late summer is fire season across the West, and unfortunately, we do experience wildfires here in Idaho. We also get smoke that drifts in from Oregon, Washington, and California, sometimes all the way from Canada. It can travel hundreds of miles, settle into the valley, and turn a blue sky day hazy and orange. It causes the air quality to drop, and people with asthma and sensitivities may find themselves spending time indoors. But here's the honest context, it's not the whole summer, and some years are worse than others. A huge draw here is the outdoor lifestyle, and part of what makes that work is we get 4 true seasons. A real winter with snow in the mountains, and the valley does get snow, but generally it's mild and it vanishes within a day or so. We get a green spring with the foothills in bloom, and then there's the hot, dry summers. We can hit in the 90s and above, but the air is dry. Don't get me wrong, hot is hot, but if the air is moving, the heat is just a little more bearable. And then there's fall. It's probably the best kept secret. It's crisp and gorgeous with trees along the greenbelt turning. It's one of my favorite times of the year. And that variety is exactly what lets you be outside all year long. Starting with what's local to Treasure Valley, there's the Greenbelt, 25 miles of paved trail running along the Boise River, straight through the middle of the city, and it's fantastic for biking and walking in the warmer months. There's some restaurants and bars right along the way, and you'll often find me and my sidekick Nico at the Eagle location taking a stroll. And don't be surprised when the winter hits and people are still out there enjoying a crisp walk along the river. Come spring and summer, you've got tons of options to paddleboard, take a swim. There's a lot of ponds and lakes, and they have beaches for a picnic too. Places like Lucky Peak and Quinn's Pond. Then there are trails for days, and many of them start right where the neighborhoods end. So you can be on a trail within 15 minutes without getting on a highway. There's rock climbing at Black Cliffs, which is 20 minutes out. And we've got golf courses galore, mostly public, and some of them are private too. And what would summer be without floating the Boise River? It's a huge staple here and so much fun. And then there's a number of places that make for an easy day or weekend getaway year round. Okay, this one's going to matter if you're relocating and your income will be tied to a local job. Wages here haven't kept up with how much home prices have climbed. Let's face it, Boise got discovered and the growth began. When it did, home prices jumped fast, faster than local salaries did. So for a lot of the same jobs, you may find the pay is lower here than what you earn in a bigger coastal market, while the housing isn't as affordable as it was a decade ago. The gap is real, and I'd be doing you a huge disservice by sugarcoating it. It really depends on your situation. If you're bringing a remote job with a California or Seattle paycheck, or you're retired with an income set, this valley can feel like a fantastic deal. But if you're planning to find work locally to cover a mortgage here, you'll want to research the specific field, run the numbers before you can count on it. It's not necessarily a deal breaker. It's just something you need to go into with your eyes wide open. This is a big topic, and I'm going to cover it in detail in a future video. Quick pause. If this is helping, tap the like button. It helps other people planning this move find the video. And hit subscribe so you don't miss when I drop a new video every Thursday. If you're coming from a major metro, remember, Boise is a mid-sized city, and sometimes it feels like one. The nearest major city, Salt Lake City, for example, is about 5 hours away. So you're a bit removed from that big city pool. You don't find the same volume of everything you'd get in LA or Seattle, like giant concerts, pro sports, and an endless variety of restaurants open until midnight. And while the Boise airport has grown, it's continuing to expand its nonstop flights. They are few and far between. So if you're traveling, your travel can run long and usually with at least one layover. The city's growing fast. More restaurants, more flights, more happening every year. But it is still Boise, not a major metro. Going into it knowing that is a much easier transition. And last but not least, this one is seen as both the good and the bad. So let me start with the positive side because it's huge. Micron, which is already one of the biggest employers in the valley, is building two brand new chip manufacturing plants right here in Boise. The first one alone is a $15 billion investment, the largest private investment in Idaho's history. So between the direct jobs and all the supplier and support work around it, we're talking thousands and thousands of new jobs coming to the valley. And that's on top of the major employers already here: St. Luke's, Boise State, and Albertsons. So the job market, which used to be one of Boise's weak spots, is genuinely opening up. Depending on your skill set, that's a big deal for anyone worried about finding work here. But here's the downside: all these people and all that opportunity, it puts pressure on everything else. More demand on housing, more cars on the road with infrastructure trying to keep up, more strain on schools and services to keep up with the pace. That very thing that's boosting the economy is the thing driving the growing pains. So, growth is the whole Boise story in one word. It's why the opportunity here and why the traffic and home prices look the way they do. It's exciting and challenging at the same time. And depending on what you're looking for, it might be your biggest reason to come or the thing you weigh the most carefully. So there it is: the good, the bad, and the ugly of living in Boise. No sugarcoating. Here's what I'd leave you with. Every single place on this earth has a list like this. There's no perfect city. The question isn't whether Boise has downsides. It does. I just walked you through them. The question is whether the trade offs line up with the life you actually want. For a lot of people, the gray winter stretch, the summer smoke, the growing traffic are a more than fair price for the outdoor access and safety and the community and pace of life. For others, it's not the right fit, and that's okay. So if you'd like a head start, I put together a free Treasure Valley relocation guide. It's linked right below. It highlights the top 10 cities in the Treasure Valley. And if you'd like to talk through whether Boise is the right fit for you, reach out anytime. No pressure, just a real conversation. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.